Now, let's start with lesson 6.2, which talking about properties of the parallelograms. The parallelograms, from its name, they told me like, if you have this parallelogram, the opposite sides, these are the opposite sides, this one and this one, and this side and this side. The opposite sides in the parallelogram are congruent. What does it mean? If this is a 3, this is a 3. If this is 5, this will be 5. And the opposite angles are congruent. As an example, if this is 90, this must be 90. Each opposite angles are congruent. Each opposite sides are congruent. And the consecutive angles in the parallelograms are supplementary. It means the measure of this angle plus the measure of this angle, these two angles are consecutive angles. Their summation, if we add them, their summation is supplementary. What's the meaning of supplementary here? That the summation of their angles is 180 degrees. Hello, we have two types, supplementary and complementary. Supplementary 180, complementary 390. So the supplementary, it means that the summation of the angles on the same side are 180, and the two angles that they are opposite to each other, they have the same angle, or they are congruent. And the last thing here, that let's repeat it in another way. Here we have this parallelogram. Now, the length of this side is congruent to this side, and this side here is congruent to this side, and this angle is congruent to this angle. They are opposite, and these two opposite angles are congruent. And the consecutive angles, it means the measure of this angle plus the measure of this angle, if you add them, they are 180. And this one here, they are 180. And this one here, they are 180. And this one here, they are 180. And they told me the diagonal. What is the diagonal? This is the diagonal here. The diagonal that's connect between the two opposite angles are bisects each other. Diagonal are bisects each other. This is here the parallelogram. Do you have any question?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay. So, a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Now let's talk about the quadrilateral. It is an object. It is a shape that have four sides. Let's talk about their properties. The first one, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. If we have these two sides, both sides are parallel. Both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. So the opposite sides are parallel and congruent.
Miss, they must give us this sign to know if the sides are parallel.
Yes, if this one like this sign, it means that they are parallel. But if I told you it is a quadrilateral, so you must know that they are parallel and congruent.
Okay.
And the consecutive angles are supplementary, as we said. If we have it like here, the measure of this angle plus the measure of this angle, angle 1 and angle 2, if you add them, you must get 180. Both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. So if I have now here this angle and this angle, the pair of opposite angles are congruent. The diagonals bisect each other. So if I have it like this, the diagonal, this diagonal is bisect the other one. And one pair of opposite side in both congruent, one pair of opposite sides is both and so let's back here. So I will say that if they are opposite, it means they are parallel and congruent. Is it clear?
Yes, Miss. Teacher, يعني must one of these,
All of them.
all of them must be there in this
Yes.
shape.
Yes, in order to say that they are equilateral.
Okay, Miss.
Okay. Now here, find the measure of the numbered angles in the parallelogram. We want to find angle 1, 2, 3. If you know that the measure of the angle 4 is 56 degrees. Yeah, let's start. The measure of the first one is 56. And as I told you, the measure of each on the parallelogram, each two opposite angles are equal. So what is the measure of angle 2 will be?
56.
56, bravo. Each two opposite angles are congruent. So measure of angle 2 will be 56. Then, what did I tell you about each two consecutive angles? What are their summation?
180.
Bravo. So it means measure of angle 1 plus 56 degree is 180. So measure of angle 1 will be 180 minus 56, which is 124. So now the measure of angle 2 is 56. The measure of angle 1 is 124. What about the measure of angle 3?
124. Because 56,
since it is opposite to the 124, it will be 124.
Also, Miss, if we made the consecutive angles, two measurements of angle 2 and 56 plus measurement of angle 3.
Bravo. Aywa, you will get the same answer. So you have here two ways in order to find the measure of the angles. Now, number 12. Here. What is the measure of angle 2?
79.
79. Bravo. What is the measure? So if this is here, so it will be 79. Now, what is the measure of angle 3?
It's measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 2.
Measurement of angle 3 plus.
So it will be
79.
180 minus 79. Because we said before that 79 plus measure of angle 3 are 180. So the measure of angle 3 will be 180.
101.
101. So the measure of angle 3 here, it will be 101. Now what is the measure of angle 1?
101.
101.
101. Bravo. That's it. Do you have any question?
No,
No,
Miss.
teacher.
Okay. Now, let's talk about lesson 6. In lesson 6 here, we talk about the properties, or we are going to talk about the properties of the rhombuses, rectangles, and the squares. Just 1 minute, please.